don't know what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doomfist hype. Oh, baby. We're there. We're loving it. Yes. So, are we about to get Doomfist versus Doomfist? Now, what could this mean? Well, I think this might actually be the basis for the cinematic, because there will be a cinematic link to Doomfist launch, and I do suspect we will be getting Doomfist on the PTR within a week's time, because that's generally what they do. When they tease a hero, they then say, oh, you know, you can play this hero within a week's time on the PTR, so I expect that to happen next week. I also expect more information to be dropped in the coming days on what's going on with Doomfist. So anyway, why am I saying Doomfist versus Doomfist? What the hell is going on there? Well, we know Doomfist has broken out of prison. That is awesome. But which Doomfist is this? We know the third Doomfist, the successor, doesn't really have a name or an identity. But the second Doomfist, the Scourge, he does, and we're assuming he's been thrown in prison. So we get this. Numbani, 3 months after the initial reports of an incident at Helix Security's international classified maximum security installation. We don't know where this installation is. All that we know is it is a maximum security installation where the worst criminals are sent. A more complex picture of what has happened has emerged. Information and details of what happened were scarce, as have been any news from the installation, said to be a prison for the world's most dangerous threats. However, after recent events in Numbani, it can now be confirmed that what occurred was an attack by the Talon organization with the express purpose of freeing one man, Akande Agumindu, and again I butchered that, I'm sorry, better known as Doomfist. So, what we have got is an attack on this facility. This here is the cell Doomfist was in. We know this because, well, it's a picture of a cell, right, of a door. It also has a very interesting number here, which is 88503. We don't know what this means. It could just mean nothing, but knowing Blizzard, it probably means something. So if you guys are mental enough to work that out, I mean, one guy in my Discord was like doing all kinds of crazy stuff and said, yes, I've come to the conclusion of the launch date, which is BlizzCon, and I'm thinking, no, it can't be, because they've teased the hero. So now we're going to get more solid evidence on what is going on with Doomfist. Anyway, we move on. This is where it gets very interesting, because it says, it began in the early hours of the morning when an unidentified aircraft, probably much like this one, this is a Talon dropship, which you can see from the Alive trailer, where of course Mandata is assassinated by Widowmaker, and Tracer tries to stop her and doesn't manage to do it, because, well, she's Tracer. Actually, I quite like Tracer. That's kind of harsh of me on Tracer. Widowmaker's a great assassin. Well done, Widow. Anyway, security initially reported that the craft had no passengers on board, based on radar scans. Now, that's interesting. If you look at the Talon strike team with the infiltration cinematic, it is Sombra, it is Reaper, and it is Widowmaker. Now, all three of those have quite plausible ways of not being detected by any kind of radar life scan. Now, I'm not sure radar can actually detect life forms, but let's go Star Trek on this. Imagine if it could, right? So you can detect life forms on the ship. Well, you look at Sombra, she could have some sort of masking system, some sort of camouflage. I mean, hell, she's got camouflage, right? Maybe she just activated a camouflage and it couldn't detect her. Reaper is basically dead anyway, and Widowmaker has no pulse, so how would you find a life sign there? So they're almost like the perfect infiltration team. Anyway, moving on. Video surveillance from within the compound revealed a black shadowy figure, so Reaper, we know he's there, emerging from the craft and descending upon the prison grounds. The unidentified assailant easily overcame the Helix security agents, leaving over a dozen dead. Medical records of the casualties reveal injuries and cellular degeneration, matching other incidents involving the mercenary known as Reaper, all but confirming the incursion as a Talon attack. Okay, so Talon have attacked. We know this. That is awesome. That is great. The whole purpose of this was to release Doomfist. So the question is, who the hell is Doomfist? Why would Talon want to release him? Because if he's a stupidly powerful individual, because we don't know which Doomfist this is, I'm operating off the idea that it's the Scourge, because we know of him. We don't know who the successor is. We know who the Scourge is, and we know that the Scourge, well, we don't actually know this, but it's, I guess you could assume that he was arrested and put into that ridiculous cell to keep him under control. So why would Talon release him? He must be evil. He must have views which align with Talon. They wouldn't just release him if he was, you know, a sympathizer to Overwatch or old Overwatch, because, well, they don't like Talon. So they must have a reason for it. This is where it gets a bit ridiculous, though. This shows you the Numbani airport, and it says Helix officials have been unwilling to reveal whether or not there are additional escapees or items taken from the facility, but sources have indicated that it is likely that there were further security breaches in addition to Ogumdu. I'm sorry, to Doomfist. So that's a little bit of a hint at, hey, maybe somebody else got out of the facility, maybe other items have been stolen from the facility. That could actually lead us, it could be a hook, a story hook going forward into another kind of hero launch or some other kind of story. I'm sure we'll find out about that with future Doomfist kind of updates, which I hope will come out in the next few days. Anyway, check this out. After escaping from the facility, Helix lost track of Ogumindu until he resurfaced in Numbani, where he clashed with the newly introduced OR-15 defense robots at the S-ATAIII International Terminal, easily destroying them and reclaiming the Doomfist. Well, if you look at the scene here, I mean, it's pretty chaotic, right? One of the bots has been smashed straight through the central pillar with what looks to be tremendous force. The other bots have been ripped apart. And these are big things, you know, these are Orisa. They're basically the same size as Orisa. Orisa's a more advanced version of them, but yeah, he smashed them apart. But it's saying that he did this without the gauntlet. Like, he's gone in here and just beat the living daylights out of these bots and then gone and got the gauntlet. You see, it kind of makes sense, right? The way he's fighting these would be as if he's just somehow got off a plane and he's come down the escalators behind, and then the bots are like, you can't go forward, you're Doomfist, and he's like, no, and he's smashed them all, and then he's just walked out the front, gone and picked up his Doomfist from the payload, and then walked off. Why he would be using the airport terminal to land at, I don't know, because surely he would be using like a Talon dropship and would just, you know, drop into the fight or whatever. So it seems really weird to me that this fight has taken place in the airport. It's a bit weird. But what is worrying is the fact that Doomfist is this powerful, apparently, without the Doomfist. So when he gets it, what? Good God, man! Like, what's he going to do? Is he just he's going to be a monster? Well, let's have a look at this, right? Because this is from the cinematic trailer, the very first cinematic trailer for Overwatch. If you look at the Doomfist, it shows you it quite clearly there. It's a right-handed gauntlet, remember that. But look at the little picture there. This is what interests me, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is the successor. Look at that. It's saying the Doomfist is part of the successor. You can clearly see there that that Doomfist connects to his arm, which gives us this much larger successor. And the silhouettes, they match. They absolutely match. It looks completely different compared to the other Doomfists, right? So yeah, what's going on? That's the successor's gauntlet. Is this a successor that's broken out of prison? Why would he be in prison? Is he evil? We know the Scourge is evil because of his name, right? The Scourge. But the previous Doomfist we don't think was. It's all very interesting. So we've got the Saviour, the Scourge, and the Successor. Look at their arms. Look at the gauntlets. The first one on the Scourge is a left-handed gauntlet. That's right, left-handed. Now remember, I said before, remember the one in the cinematic? It was a right-handed gauntlet. Then if we look at the Successor's gauntlet, well, we can see that is a right-handed gauntlet. And we know from the cinematic that the bottom portion of that gauntlet is, in fact, the gauntlet that has been on Numbani. And if we look at it now, yeah, that's a right-handed gauntlet. So maybe it isn't the Successor's, the Scourge's, sorry. Maybe it's not his gauntlet after all. It's all very weird, but maybe it is. Maybe the gauntlet can sort of reconfigure itself depending on what hand you want to use it on. We just don't know yet. We need more information. However, what is very interesting is if we look at the names underneath the banners, we can see the Scourge is called, and I'm going to butcher this again, Akinji Adiemi. That is not Akande Agamundi. I cannot read these names, but it is not the same, right, guys? The letters are different. It is not the same name. So is this a successor's name? Because we don't know the successor's name because it's hidden with omnic text. Akande, what does that mean? What does this name mean? Well, look at it. There are quite a few people from Nigeria with this name. We've got a Nigerian politician, a Nigerian industrialist, and a Nigerian footballer. It must be a name of Nigerian origin, so that means Doomfist must be Nigerian. So, can Terry Crews actually voice Doomfist? Well, maybe he can, because check this out.
Boy has no skills. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Doomfist versus Doomfist then, the entire premise of this video. Let's get down to it. Why do I think this could possibly be the introduction of the hero? We might actually see the Scourge, or whoever the hell has been released from that facility, is not a friendly person. Talon have released them. They are evil. That has to be fact. They are going to go on a rampage. They've already been on a rampage in Numbani to get the gauntlet back. Now, enter the successor, or the next Doomfist. This person has the backing of Overwatch, or at least friendly Overwatch agents or people fighting for good, because of course Overwatch is not really a thing anymore. But people like Soldier76, people like Diva, people like Zarya, people like Mercy, maybe Winston. I mean, Winston's got a history with Doomfist, right? Anyway, but those guys get together and help the new Doomfist fight this mental Talon-backed Doomfist, who is supposedly insanely strong based off the fact he smashed the airport without the gauntlet. And on his side, he'll have Reaper, he'll have Sombra, and Widowmaker, right? Possibly, maybe not Sombra, we don't know, because Sombra is still a little bit in the grey zone, but we know that, yeah, she does work with Talon based off the infiltration cinematic. So yeah, so what I'm hoping we're going to get is this massive cinematic which shows a clash between the old Doomfist who's been released from prison, the new Doomfist who overcomes him with the help of the friendly kind of Overwatch agents and the other people like Diva and stuff, and then he becomes a new Doomfist, and the Doomfist is a symbol of hope for the people, because I can't really see them releasing a purely evil hero. Maybe you guys can. I don't know. All I know is that this is very exciting. We now have evidence that there is a new hero coming. What I said in the video I made a couple of days ago was I expected this to be a hero release month. It is 100% a hero release month. We will get more information. Come back tomorrow, guys, because we will have more information. Until then, all we know is that Doomfist is coming, and this is going to be absolutely insane. You know, I like to say this, guys, but go crazy in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you think there could be a Doomfist versus Doomfist battle? Do you think he's just a purely evil Doomfist and he's just going to go around smashing stuff up because he doesn't even care? But then why would Talon release him? Who else has escaped from the facility? Because it was teasing towards that. What other items have escaped? That we can just go mental with this. Oh my god. Guys, I am Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you leave a comment as well, join the Discord, which is discord.gg/Unit Lost, and follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you on the next time, guys, on the next one, whatever. I'm so excited. Oh, toodaloo.